Aforementioned Disability, a large set of unfinished stories, by BleedingEquine. The tags for the story are sex, gore, comedy, crossover, dark, human, random, romance. The characters that star in the story are Gilda, Prince Blueblood, original characters, other characters, and the main six. Chapter 1. Pimple, Popper, Pingo, Pang, with 270 words. Twilight Sparkle is an amazing pony. You see, she realizes that smothering her face in burger grease was a poor idea. Currently sitting in her tree home, it is now understandable that it was a stupid idea. But how could it be stupid? I love Hayburgers and Hayburger accessories, so it's only logical for me to have pimples over my face, she said while popping a disgusting pimple. Its acne-infested pus was shot over Spike. Oh wow, Twilight Sparkle, why did you pimple your popper on me? He said worryingly. It's because I hate you. Dragons are icky, and I need to pop pimples over people with pus. Can't beat that logic, Twilight Sparkle. Why don't you pop more pimples over my popper? Twilight then popped more pimples all over his body. He scrubbed it over himself like a delicious lotion. Then derpy hooves crashed through the wall. She heard the sound of pimples popping from her supersonic hearing sounds. Oh my goodness, Twilight Sparkle, I need you to pop pimples over me too. It will be fun, said Derpy Hooves. Of course you can join, Derpy Hooves. I have enough acne for every pony. I have enough acne for every pony. Soon Twilight Sparkle popped a big pimple that she was saving for this occasion. It felt nice to make Derpy a happy mare. Oh yeah, you purple cunt. Shoot it in my vagina, said Derpy Boo-roo. Yeah, take my sticky pus, you horse, said Twilight Sparkle. Pimple, proper, people, ponder, positively pun, said Spike. That was Chapter 1. Chapter 2. Attack of the Violent Dildos, with 206 words. The night was silent and peaceful, much too wonderful to ignore. Every pony was outside, because it was National Stand Outside of Your Home Day. No pony would ever think of the horror that was going to assail them. The moon glistened up in the sky, and Princess Luna decided it was best not to worry so much, because those flying dildos haven't come in over 1,000 years, and they weren't so much a threat as much as ponies really think. Oh, the ponamity! Otherwise, her ass was itchy. It felt such a way, for she knew how bad it was last time the monstrous things returned. But since the ponies were in such a good mood after the installation of Stand Outside Your Home Day, she knew that the return of these dildos would make everything better. Every pony seemed off and bothered, and she knew a little penetration would be what's best for all. She watched at the tip-top of Canterlot Castle and monitored intently with a telescope. She could hear the zipping of those flying dildos through the sky. They were homing in fast and ready to fill every hole there was in Ponyville. Chapter 3. Chrissy Pooh Loses Everything, with 282 words. Arm is bleeding all over the ground. Can't move. Can barely stand on my own. Shaky legs that can't stop. Have to make my stand. I'm losing a lot of blood and running out of energy. How did things come to this? All I wanted to do was survive. I wanted what's best for my children. I don't need this. My name is Chrysalis, and I have nothing now. No changeling to say hello to me in the morning. Not a gentle caress of any changeling living. I'm just standing here, watching the beast that ruined everything for me. I have nothing left. What are you looking at, worm? Are you ready to die yet? All I ever was is gone now. My fate is sealed by that princess who wouldn't stop. That nightmare who decimated everything. My entire legion of children are gone. I couldn't save them. I wasn't able to be the best mother I could have been. Now, even in our home grounds, the changeling hive could not make pause for that darkness that flooded what light was left in this place. Do not fret, changeling queen. All of your children will be put to good use. Nightmare Moon released a darkness tendril. Nightmare Moon released a darkness tendril that emerged from her back. It jutted into a dead changeling in the dirt, pumping evil into its body. A dead changeling emerged with an emotionless expression. What are you doing? Stop! Chrysalis took a step forward until she grunted from her hoof. She collapsed into the ground, from the pain swarming her will to go on. Chapter 4. Gilda gets hit by a car. With 637 words. The night was wondrous. Too still for any creature to truly appreciate it. Gilda wandered around, as she had been drinking heavily and her eyes squinted in pain. Walking towards the street in a drunken stupor, she had no idea the bright light that was heading straight at her, stalking her form that wasn't seen or able to be heard from the non-sober bantering. Gilda twisted her wings and bent down on all fours. She watched the powerful light come closer and closer before the loud humming of the car suddenly came to a loud apex. A pain in her head, and Gilda felt like she was flying in the cold embrace of the windy air. Wings flapping in little wafts, she was the little flying cub that once was. A piece of hard yellow filled up her paw, and she couldn't feel her beak. Then her height took her down to the ground, the nice view of the stars interrupted by a loud thump. Gilda saw only a haze before feeling the exhaustion in her limbs give out. Mixed with a loss of blood, high toxicity, and delirium, there could be no control. On the pavement her body sat, motionless and peaceful as a sad bird that lost her way. There was no noise but the silence of the night. The pitch black got darker as the moon climbed up to the sky to take its place. The sound of small steps and a low growl. It came towards the unconscious body of Gilda, a howl towards the night at finding a beautiful female. The claws pressed against the shapely hourglass body she had. Such a fine specimen of a creature to have fun for the night. The black wolf sniffed the female scent from her gaping bird hole. He pressed his doggy cock against her and reached deeply until he felt the bead. More pumping into her, the wolf licked her lover by the neck before thrusting like a wild animal. The wolf whimpered with each juicy, succulent push. He smelled the air for its decadent flavor of winter and trees. Claws pressed against her thick buttocks, that with each push gave a strong force in response. This invigorated the wolf's erection and made him push against her fiercely. Finally, the wolf could feel his seed ready to pour out. He let loose the large amount of wolf semen into her womb, pressing his penile hole right into the bead's entryway. The love transferred easily into the deeper regions of her reproductive system. The wolf, done with his work and fully satisfied, lapped his penis clean and moved on with his wolfy workings. The morning sun shined over the horizon. Gilda, her cunt filled with a leak of the beast's semen, was still unconscious. Flies flew over her dead-looking body. A loud horn resounded as a large truck came quickly. Turning over the truck and picking up the lost creature, there was no time to waste. Gilda felt odd. There was a haze in her eyes as she opened them. She didn't understand. There was something wrong with her stomach. A touch, and she felt the round, pregnant belly. Something gave in as she screamed and as loud as she could. Doctors swarmed in as they caught the sight of her water breaking just as she woke. They pulled her to the emergency room of Manhattan. Continuing their way, Gilda was both confused and in pain from the labor she was enduring. Into the ER room, Gilda was swept over from the pain of labor. She continued to push and push to make the pain end. Whatever that formed into her womb, she had no idea. The doctors told her to push and said that they would explain to her everything in the end. Chapter 5. Water. With 407 words. Cold, wet, and silent. Flotation, limpness, eyes. Panic. A gasp for breath, eyes searching while floating in water. Dark stones, bluish in color. There are rock patterns that lead to walkable surface from up high into the tall cave wall. Still floating in the pool of cold water, head only visible with body submerged in dark water. Behind is light reflected from outside, barely carrying through the bluish cave wall. Visibility is dim. Could have been better if it had some stronger light source. Anger consumes, bang with hoof against the bright bluish cave wall that leads to nature. They threw me here, sent me to die a horrible death. The only pony who will care or know of my existence will be me. Not Twilight Sparkle, Rainbow Dash, or any pony from Ponyville. All of them will blindly follow that false deity. I will die in this place, and no one will know the truth or care. I will die here, all alone, with no pony to see my corpse or alert my family of my demise. All who dare to investigate will meet the same fate. It will never end. The lies, the deceit, nothing. Screams and more banging, loud, desperate yelps to something that can't be helped. Sobbing, floating around in the pool to relax the pain. It was quiet, so very still and peaceful. How could any pony not take this opportunity to lay in the waters that felt so nice to float around? Maybe death will be swift and painless. After all she had been through, Clamor Call had lost everything. Her red mane damp and dark, floating across the surface like wet moss. Near her, a ripple sound, somewhere close. Clamor scrambled. She saw the bubble in the water and swam. Fast as she could go, each stroke from her arms splashed back at her force. She reached the tall cave wall that led to a walkable surface. Behind, as she climbed, a fin emerged from the pool. Almost to the top after placing hooves on hard protrusions, the creature beneath the pool leapt from under. A large shark that came in for a bite, only to taste rock and a bit from her tail. She screamed at the tug from her tail until finally making up to the walkable surface. The ground was soft and slippery, stalactites encrusted in the ceiling, and the shark circled, waiting for its prey to make a mistake.